Welcome to the Almond Brief, brought to you by the team at Harris Wolf Almonds, your trusted source for the latest global almond market trends. Whether you're a grower or a buyer, we've got the insights that matter to you. The goal of this podcast is to deliver information in a clear, concise, and speedy manner. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. We love hearing from you. Without further delay, let's jump right in.
Welcome back to the Almond Brief, brought to you by Harris Wolf Almonds. I'm Chase Higginbotham. Here with us again, Kevin Souza.
How's it going, Chase?
Kevin, welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back. Back in the studio.
Back in the studio, live from Harris Wolf Studios. Kevin, you were traveling a little bit, went to the Peanut Tree Nut Conference last week, so got to see a lot of the buyers throughout the industry. So I think we'll talk about later on what the feedback is from the buyers, how everybody digested the December position report. December position report was released recently. We sent out our written update, and then we wanted to give it a little bit of time to let the market digest this data, and then we can come back to you with a little more of the facts, figures, nuts and bolts about the impact on the market. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
ready to dive in?
Let's jump.
All right. Well, we'll start where we normally do, and that's the crop receipts. So we've talked kind of all season since we started harvesting this crop. We need to get to, the December position report, released in January. That'll give us our first real indication of true crop size. Well, now we're here.
Yeah.
Do we need a drum roll or anything? All right. So year to date, we're now at 2.51 billion pounds. Currently, we're about 2.5% behind the 2024 crop. That came in a little higher than where everybody was expecting.
It did. It was higher than expected. Going back a few months, or actually, majority of this season, we all thought it was going to be around a 2.7, 2.75 crop. It was kind of the consensus. I think the buyers and sellers were kind of trading based off of a potential 2.75 crop. And then just within the last, 6 weeks with rumors going around and talk and whatnot, really, there was an expectation that it was going to come in lower, even as low as 2.6. But now we know that with this 2.51 and where we are as of today, that it's probably going to be closer to that 2.7.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Looking at the crop receipts prior to December, we had fallen short month after month of the 2024 crop. But December was the first month larger and actually came in 100 million pounds larger than last December. And I think that kind of speaks to just the nature of this crop. This crop was very slow to process, a lot higher moistures this year, just due to the cooler nature of this season. And then also with the late season rains we received, larger hull mass. So throughput through hullers around the state was really slow. So I think that really kind of shows that, overall the crop's not larger than last year. It's probably roughly the same size. But the time to process it has just dragged on a little farther than usual.
Yeah. Every year's different, huh, Chase?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I think it's safe to say, though, now that everyone's, 2.7, give or take. And I know you can go through the numbers on that, but that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably staring at a 2.7 crop, which is right around where last season ended. And, if we look at the math and look at the history, I think that backs it up. Receipts through December over the last 5 years have ranged between 90 and 95% of the crop being delivered by the December report. If we just kind of pick the midpoint, call it 92.5%. Against the 2.51 billion pound crop, that gets us to a 2.71. I like round numbers. We'll call it a 2.7.
I agree. And, like I said, that's right in line with where expectation was 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah. And there's, give or take a little either direction. But for now, we'll go with 2.7.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the expectations of the receipts up until now was, on the high end 2.8. Maybe some people thinking you'd see some prices come down a little bit if it got to that 2.8, and they also thought some in that 2.6 camp and prices would go up. But now that we're at that 2.7, which is right in the middle, I think now people realize prices aren't going to jump up 30 cents, but they're also not going to come off 30 cents. And buyers still need to cover and sellers still need to sell. So hopefully we see some good liquidity come out of this and we keep it going.
Yeah, that is the bright side of the 2.7 number. Sadly, it's not the 2.6 or lower number that was once thought. It's not going to give us that price bump that we were expecting. But at least it gives some confidence both on the buying and selling side. We know what the crop size is. That takes away one of the variables for this season, and folks can sell almonds, buy almonds, and we can get it shipped.
Let's go. Get it out.
So we'll shift over to sales this month, or for the month of December, which is typically a relatively quiet month. 197 million pounds versus 182 million last year.
Yeah, I think the number, the 197 million pounds, was higher than expected. 182 that we saw last year was kind of more in the realm of a typical December. December is typically a slow month with the holidays, and ultimately the last 2 or 3 weeks really not even being that active just due to holidays and whatnot. So to come in at the 197, we're on track with that around that 200 mark, give or take, on the sales, and
Mhm.
better than what we thought. So we'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, and year to date, looking at the overall sold percentage, we're at about 50% of the crop sold. We're about 2% behind last year, but definitely within striking distance, and got 7 months, 6 months left in the year to get caught up.
Correct. Yep, we're in a good spot.
Very good. Going to the shipping, another decent shipping month. 245 million total.
Yeah. Yeah, expectations going in throughout the industry was 220 to 230 as far as shipments go. So hitting that 245 was a very good number, higher than anticipated. Especially last year, we shipped 233 million pounds. We're up from
Mhm.
that, and we're up from 220 million pounds from last month. So shipments were definitely good, and it's keeping us on pace to get that carry out at a reasonable level at the end of the year and move on.
Yep. Yeah, no, overall great shipments. When we break it down, export and domestic, great export, 196 million. But the trend we've seen all year, very very sad domestic shipments, only 49 million again.
Mhm.
So I know we've been talking. Hopefully it'll pick up. Hopefully it'll turn around. But have we found our new normal?
I think we've, as for now anyways, we've found our new normal. If you look back over the last few months, we've been hitting that 50 million pound mark consistently, and that seems to just be the status quo from here on out. And when we look at the sales and commitments, it looks like we're on track to keep shipping about that per month. So I think that is the new normal, and we'll have to act accordingly around it. And luckily, the export market is picking up the slack. We're seeing a lot of growth in other markets. India is obviously still a big market, even though they're a little bit behind. We'll get to that, but the Asian countries are picking up the slack. We're seeing a lot of growth out of North Africa. So Europe is consistent. So the export markets are continuing to grow and really offsetting the domestic shipments.
Yep. Yeah, no, it appears that's kind of the cards that we're dealt now, and that's what we'll work with going forward on the domestic side. You did mention this, India. That's another one that's lagged behind for most of this season, although they did have a pretty good shipping month for December.
Mhm. India has been off all year, and this month they got a little over 1,000 containers, 1,070 or give or take. So that was a good shipment month. But India pricing is still off over there. We're still seeing, especially independents, the kernel equivalent being very low. It's not at a premium by any means, and honestly, it's close to what a cow price would be, a small sized cow. So that's a struggle. That's tough. Non-parels are trading at parity, maybe a little bit up, a little bit down, just depending on the time to kernel. So the dynamics over there are different than we've seen in the past, but we're working through it.
Yeah, no, India's always been a great outlet. In-shell's always been a great avenue for the independence variety. But this year, yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working out. So
There's a lot of factors, and we can get into it if, typically, but with timing of crop, timing of the holidays, what everything is, it's all just been it all factors in.
no, hopefully we see that pick up, but it's just been a strange year.
It has been a strange year, but overall, so we have those are the numbers. We have the year-to-date shipments at right about 1.7 billion pounds so far.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, we're behind last year about 6.5%, but once again, same as the sales, it's not out of reach to get caught up. If we can ship an average of 225 million pounds each month over the next 7 months that are going to be reported, we catch up to last year's shipments. With the crop being relatively the same size, that'll keep carry out right around that, high 400 million, low 500 million range, and keep supply and demand kind of in balance. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise that we're off 6.5% when you look at the front end of the season, the crop was coming in slow, it was coming in light. There was not a lot of sales that took place because people wanted to see what the crop was going to look like. But since the last few months, we've really accelerated it. And when you look at the fundamentals in the market, there's still a lot of buying and selling to be done with the market being so hand to mouth. So all the sales that take place are usually for immediate shipment, so it adds up really fast, and that's why we're continuing to see these strong shipment months. And with that going forward, I think we could easily close that deficit.
no, and I think now that we've got a pretty good handle on the crop size this year, I know growers have told us on the grower relation side, I don't want to sell too much until we know what the crop size is. I'm sure buyers have told you the same thing. I don't want to buy too much.
I don't want to buy too much until I know what the crop size is, have some facts in front of me, but hey, on both sides, we have the facts now.
That's it. I think we got all the tools to get caught up, keep things in balance, and then we'll get into 2026 crop, which also right around the corner. We're about a month away from bloom, so by the time we do our podcast next month, we'll be into bloom. We'll have a better idea what's going on. Um, that'll be the next talk.
We'll have a lot more information or a lot more talking points next month with both the shipping report, where the market is, bloom. We're going to be start talking about 2026 crop. Things are they're ramping up.
Yep.
They're ramping up.
It's exciting on the horizon.
Yeah, always. Never a dull moment.
Kevin, thank you for always bringing your insight. You're talking to the buyers every day. You're living what's going on in the market, keeping us on the grower team informed so that we can pass it on when we're talking to our growers, but also to share with the larger group out there. So
Yeah, absolutely. Love doing it.
again, thank you folks for watching. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, and we'll be back next month with some more information.
Yeah, we like feedback. So any feedback you guys want to provide, let us know, and we're going to keep them coming. And we'll be back next month.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.